few years ago when I started to go to the gym and lose weight, I talked to one of my closest friends that was a big gym goer. And I was telling him how motivated I am and how well I've been doing. And I must have been at the gym for maybe about 2 or 3 months, very early on. And I was saying to him, I'm so motivated and whatnot. And he said to me, motivation is great, but discipline is what's going to keep you there for years and years. And I had to think about it for a second, but the way that it's been explained to me is motivation gets the fire started, right? It gets you going. It's like you're starting the fire, but to keep that fire going, you have to keep adding wood, which takes discipline. You have to go out every single day and get that wood and bring it back to the fire and put it on there. Now, if you don't put the wood on there, the fire goes out. And if you don't have any motivation, let's say the motivation is a lighter to light the fire, it's very hard to start back up. Now, at the time, I understood this and I took it on board, and luckily I became more disciplined, not just with gym, but my whole life. Basically saying if I'm going to do something, at the end of the day, I do it. The only problem is this is where I went wrong, is I mixed up discipline with overworking, right? I put discipline into everything I did, every single thing, and it may sound good on the surface, but there are some things that doesn't require discipline to function, right? Like let's say you have some free time, right? Now you're disciplined to, in that free time, read a book, let's say. Now that's the disciplined thing to do. But sometimes just wasting it away with maybe a family member or someone you love is better for you. And that's where I kind of got it mixed up, whereas I needed to be disciplined all the time, constantly, which is rubbish, because at one point you're going to burn out because you're only human. Being disciplined is a really hard task, and a lot of people will go in and out of being disciplined, right? And because they have made this understanding to the world that they are disciplined, they don't like to see anyone else see them not be disciplined. So if they, let's say like a gym influencer, right, sneaks a donut, they don't want you to see that, right? No, they don't want anyone to see that. And so when we, the consumers or quote unquote normal people, view people like, let's say a gym influencer, it's the easiest one to go about. But when we see these people, and on our view, they're working out every day, they're working out for 2 hours, they're eating nothing but rice and beef and this and that, whatever. Now that is not always, it's like definitely not always the case. And you can get discouraged by this, by seeing someone else be so disciplined, and then you're thinking to yourself, well, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Now, what I would say is never, ever, whatever you're doing in life, whether it's the gym, whether it's art, whether it's, in your work spot, anything, never compare yourself to others. Yeah, always compare yourself with who you was yesterday, right? Can you go a little further? Can you do this? Can you do better today, basically? And that's what you should be focused on, no one else, because everyone else's abilities, everyone's experiences, upbringing, mindset, everything's completely different because of the way they've lived, they've grown up, the understanding of the world, their skill set, the way their brain works. These are all so many factors that make them completely different to you. And so comparing, you wouldn't compare a fish and a rabbit who could run fastest, right? It'd just be unfair. Or, a fish and a rabbit, and the fish can swim, so let's compare them how to swim. You wouldn't do that, right? So, even though humans are very alike, the reality is we're all very different in even the way from our body's built to our mind. So comparing yourself to someone else is just it's an unfair comparison, and also you shouldn't be really thinking about others. You shouldn't be too concerned with them, especially when you're building upon yourself. And so the best way to do that The only person that you can, judge yourself on is yourself. So judge who you was yesterday and ask yourself, did you get better that day? Did you not? If not, can you improve? If not, was you too tired? Maybe you need a rest. I got so disciplined at one point that I would take 5 minutes every now and then to listen to some music, and it would be so relaxing. And I know people are thinking, what are you talking about? Well, my days were, a few years ago, just filled up with productive stuff, right? I was writing, I was learning, I was working, I was traveling, and then gym and learning new things, right? And it was just constant. It was constant to the point where I had literally no time to myself. Everything was scheduled, everything was put in place to improve myself. Now, it was great, and for, I would say, probably about a year, it was pretty productive for the most part. But the thing is, I was starting to burn out little by little, and it was like I was, trying to grab a rope as I was falling, and I was just getting further and further away from that rope, and I could just never catch it because I was burning myself out. I was making things so efficient that it wasn't efficient. I see the thing is in life, humans, we want to be efficient with what we do, and we want to make things so streamlined and as perfect as possible. But at the end of the day, if we build up these cities and we build up these people and these jobs and these things that we do to a perfect degree, that's great. But what are we doing it for, right? It's for the reason of fun. It's creative and to have a life. It's not so that we can just be more efficient. We're not being efficient to be more efficient, right? We want to get healthy so that we can run around in the park. We want to be smarter so we can be better at a game, or maybe what we love to do, right? All these things we do for a reason. It's not just to be more efficient. I'm not just getting healthier so I can be more healthy, right? These are for you do things for a reason, and you need both to live life and also manage it and make sure it's efficient as well. So you can't swing either which way. Yeah, you can't just constantly have fun all the time, but you can't constantly just have constant efficiency all the time. And unfortunately, that took me quite a little bit to learn. Luckily I've learned it now. So my advice to you is, anytime that you try to be as efficient as possible, you're trying to better yourself, understand that your life, you only get one of these. You can die at any point, right? No matter how healthy you are, how smart you are. So take the time to every day to enjoy it as well, just to enjoy life. It doesn't, not everything needs to be efficient constantly all the time. So nowadays I am still efficient, but I also take the time to just enjoy life, enjoy the small things. One donut won't hurt, but as long as it's one, don't take the mick. And same with, a day off. It doesn't, you're gonna be alright. You're gonna be alright. A day off, again, as long as it's a day off and you're not swinging too much to this side. A lot of people will have you think, you have to do this and you have to work constantly all the time and do this. Yeah, you do, but in balance with this, because otherwise you're just gonna burn out and you're going to end up at ground zero anyway. And the same thing if you're just relaxing all the time and you're not doing anything, you're also never going to go anywhere. It's a balance. Life is a balance. It is like the most important thing. I was talking about this about a week ago or so, but I was talking about this pendulum swinging back and forth in arguments that people have in this world, right? And I feel like on both sides of pretty much most political arguments right now, we're at the extremes, right? On either side, they're at the extremes. And I know this is a bit of a random one coming from this video, but when you find arguments of any kind, it's good to see both sides and make your own middle ground, because the reality is it's so hard to find the middle ground between these two groups of people bickering, their extremeness on both sides. That's kind of hard to find the middle. It's kind of it's kind of loose, right? And so for me, on anything political or anything there's an argument or a debate over, I always like to understand and try and put myself in the shoes of the people that are debating both sides, and then find the middle ground myself, because otherwise I feel like it will never be found, not between these two groups, never. Which is upsetting that we can't do that on a mass scale, but here we are. And I say that because you might have this same thing between yourself. Do I relax or do I be disciplined, right? And you need to find the extremes of both and find the middle ground within yourself. And don't listen to anyone else. As long as you're happy and you're healthy mentally and physically, and you're doing things that are right, no, don't worry about what anyone thinks. It doesn't matter who it is. Just do you're doing good, you're healthy, and that's all you really need to worry about. So that's everything. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.